my name is Maya and welcome to the episode 47 of my knitting podcast where I share all my thoughts, process and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. Today is the 6th of March 2025 and I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland where I live with my gecko. Today is the 6th because tomorrow is the 7th. Groundbreaking, I know. And the 7th is the launch day for the Roadtrip Shacket, which I am wearing right now, which is not a finished object, but whatever. I don't have any finished objects for today, actually. I have quite a few works in progress, one acquisition. That's very, very exciting. And that's all. And the pattern release, of course. I mean, I am filming on the 6th, but tomorrow is today for you. So today is the 7th. And it's the pattern release day! Yay! Okay, so the Roadtrip Shacket is a shirt jacket style because it has the features of a shirt, so shirt collar, this nice detail on the cuff, and it also has a can you even see it? A rounded hem like that with a button placket and pockets up here. But it's also a jacket, like an outer layer style thing. It's super warm and cozy, it's amazing, I just love it. I have two versions for it. The first one is the long sleeve, this one, and the second one is... ta-da! It's the short sleeves version, which I have already shown as well, but this time it is dry. Last time it was not off the blocking mats, it was on the blocking mats and it was more than damp. So this time it's dry, it's soft, it's lightweight, it's beautiful, I love it, and it has the same features, so button band, pockets, I mean short sleeves, so it's not the same, with the folded over stockinette here, and then yes, the shirt collar and the rounded hem. I don't know if I said that already, whatever. So that's the second version, and both versions will be available in the pattern. Yes! I did my best to take good notes, but I will try to still say things in an order that makes sense. So the yarn I used for this very warm and wintry and like fluffy, cozy version is an unspun yarn. So this one is Nutiden. Where's the shoulder? This is Nutiden and wait. The hanger trick. So this one is Nutiden Held Double. This colorway is Merkel 2022, which is a very deep dark burgundy with a purple undertone, or it's more than an undertone. I would say it's a purple leaning burgundy. I don't know, it's between the two. But I ran out of yarn, so I had to hold one strand of this color with one strand of Sade down here for the end of the sleeves and the body. So you can kind of tell this part is more burgundy and this part is more purple. But if I hadn't told you, you wouldn't have guessed. So yeah, this is just to say you can use different colors of unspun together and it will look just fine. And this version is a size 3, so it gives me about 30, I think 32 centimeters of positive ease, which is a lot. But it's very comfortable, and since this is supposed to be like an outer layer wintry version, I wanted it to be bigger. And this one is a size 2, so I have less, I mean I have 22 centimeters of positive ease, which is, let me do the math, 9 inches of positive ease. So it's still quite oversized, but it's like closer to the intended size. And yeah, it's more appropriate for a summery version, because in this one I used Candide by Derme Natura, which is a cotton and merino blend. It's a woolen spun, so it's very lightweight and airy, and it's super mega soft. Like, it's so soft, I can't believe it. I have knit quite a lot with this yarn, but for some reason, holding it double, I held it double, and having it at an like outer layer like that, I don't know, for some reason it feels even softer than usual. So yeah, I really recommend this yarn choice. Yes, the pattern includes the yardages for both long and short sleeves with like a standard yarn like this one or an unspun yarn like this one. Just note that the testers that used an unspun yarn used a lot less than me. However, with unspuns, the yardages can vary a lot between blends and between brands. For example, if you use Protulopi, I think the tester that used Protulopi used almost half of what I used. And someone used Manchelopi, they also used a lot less, and someone else used Hillesvåg, I don't know how it's called, and they also used a lot less. But I prefer to leave the yardages a bit overshot. That way it's easier to complete a project if you have too much yarn than if you have not enough. So you probably won't need just as much as I did here. And also note that this one is a little bit longer. I added 5 centimeters because I wanted to, but the yardages are for the real length in the pattern. I did the correction math. And this one is 5 centimeters shorter. If I put them side by side, can you even see anything? Yeah, there is like a... I'm just showing my butt here. There is like a 10 centimeter difference between the two here. The size range of the pattern, it goes to fit chest and not full bust. The chest is the upper bust, so measured right below the armpit, from 75 centimeters to 155 centimeters and 30 inches to 62 inches. Again, this is chest measurement and not full bust because this is a unisex design, so it's supposed to fit on body that can be male or female, the same. There is a lot of guidance in the pattern on how to select a size depending on your body type. So if you're not sure, there is guidance. I'm holding your hand to choose the correct size for you. But I did this because since this is unisex, I wanted to have a correct fit around the shoulders because, for example, a man that has a certain chest circumference will absolutely not have the same shoulder size as a woman that have a certain full bust circumference. But the difference is a little bit less big, yes, when you use the upper bust, the chest. So that's why I'm using upper bust in all my patterns, really. Not only if they are unisex, but in this case, it's unisex. So that's because this is something that's very important for me. It's just a personal thing and I do what I want. But I would like to say that even if the chest measurement goes only up to 155 centimeters or 62 inches, actually the corresponding full bust measurement for women in the standard size chart is something wild like 170 centimeters. I don't know what that is in inches, but yeah, it goes way beyond, way past the mark for size inclusive patterns that use the full bust, which is probably why I couldn't find testers for the bigger sizes, because it's actually a very big size and it's difficult to find testers for those. So I just put in the pattern that if you want to test those sizes and you have the corresponding chest measurement, not full bust but chest, you can contact me and I will send you the pattern for free for testing. If you don't want to and you just want to knit a pattern that hasn't been tested, you can as well. But yeah, it hasn't been tested, so do what you want. Okay, the construction is knit both bottom up and top down because drop shoulders like this one just make more sense when they are bottom up, but I hate knitting garments bottom up, so I did both. Basically you cast on here at the beginning of the texture section and then you knit bottom up towards the shoulder here. You need 3 panels, so 2 for the front and 1 for the back, and then you seam them together at the shoulder here, and once you're done you pick up the stitches at the cast on edge and then you knit the rest of the garment top down. And the pockets are patch pockets, so you pick up the stitches. There is a neat trick to have stitches on hold while you knit the garment so that you don't have to count the stitches to place the pocket. The stitches are already there. It's super neat. I love it. And then you knit the pocket, sew it down only on the 2 sides here because here it's already attached, here as well. And then you pick up the stitches for the sleeves. You knit a sleeve cap about this deep and then you knit the sleeve in the round until the cuff. The sleeve cap is the same for the short sleeve version, and you just need a smaller sleeve. Did I forget anything? Yes, then you pick up the shirt collar and then the button bands. And did you notice that my buttons are on this side for this one, but they are on this side for this one? Because I don't know my right and my left, and I tried so hard to make it the same on both, but I failed. So I think this is the correct side, but this is the men's side. And did you know, fun fact, that the buttons are placed on the right for a man because men were dressing up by themselves mainly, I mean back in the days, so they were using the buttons in their right hand. So no, this is men's side. While women were getting dressed by their, I don't know how you call that in English, the ladies that were taking care of them. I don't know how you say that, the room lady or whatever. So the buttons were placed on the right for the person that were dressing them, which is on the left for the person that is wearing the garment, which is why it's reversed. So this one is women, this one is men, but for some reason I'm more used to this one, so I guess I'm only wearing men's shirt. I don't know. Anyway, the bottom rounded hem, this is too long, is formed with short rows down here. It's super satisfying to do, and all the edges the edges are worked using an anti-roll bind-off technique, which rolls a ton when you work it, but once you block it, it should lay flat. Just be careful when you bind off, you really need to bind off loosely. But yeah, all my edges are just flat, like this. Also on this one. It just rolls a little bit on the button band, but I don't find it too bothering. I mean, it's fine. It's a little bit. Doesn't bother me. Yes, and did I forget anything? I wanted to show you my buttons. I had bought black buttons because I'm very original, like those. I needed 7 for the whole jacket, this one. I bought them before I finished this one. And I could only buy them by 3. So I had to buy 9 buttons if I wanted to have 7. So I had 2 extra, which was super annoying. I hate having extras of stuff. But yeah, I had 9 buttons. And then I went through my Notions stash and I found 5 buttons that I had bought in Korea in 2022 when I went last time, which are embroidered buttons that I will show. I took a picture here. They are beautiful, and I knew I had them, but I thought I had 2 for some reason, and I had 5. And 7 plus 5, no wait, 9 plus 5 is 14, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. So I had exactly the correct amount to have all 7 buttons on both my samples. Yes! Pure luck! So what I did is I added 5 black buttons on the button band here, and then I added 2 of the embroidered buttons on the pockets here, like a little jewelry thing. They are so cute! Look at that! They are so cute! And on this one I had 4 black buttons left, so I added them here, and I also added the 2 buttons here. They are a little bit smaller, a bit different. And then I had to add the last embroidered button here, which is fine. I think it's cute. So I have the black buttons and just the last one that's different. I think it's like a funny Easter egg. I like it. So that way I have 0 buttons left and I'm super satisfied. I just love that. I wanted to mention that this is definitely not a beginner-friendly pattern. It's not difficult, but it's very involved. Like, you really have to pay attention to what you're doing. But my testers said that the pattern was really easy to follow, and like, you never feel lost, which is exactly what I try to do. I don't like when you're following a pattern and you're like, this can be understood in 5 different ways and I don't know which one the designer is thinking about. I hate that. So I just tried my best to make it very clear. And I think I achieved that because, yeah, all the testers said it was very clear and easy to follow, so I hope this is good. However, it's not beginner friendly because I still assume you have already knit a few garments and you just know how things work. And also this texture The texture in itself is easy, but then you have the shoulder shaping. Again, it's not difficult, it's just involved. You have to pay attention. And if you're not used to reading chart, binding off, and just understanding what your fabric is saying to you, it's gonna be difficult. But if you know how to do that, you're gonna be fine. The two keywords, the pattern is involved, but it's reassuring, I think. So, all of that to say, the pattern is now available to buy on Ravelry and Payhip, and you can get it with a 15% discount using the code HAPPYROADTRIP on both websites. And it's valid until Sunday the 9th, so in 2 days. I mean 3 days for me, but 2 days for you. At midnight, end of day, Central Europe time. And this time, I think that's it. So I'm just so proud. I'm so happy. I just love this guy so much. This, as I mentioned, is involved, but I have knit quite a lot. I have made quite a lot of complicated stuff, and then I have designed quite a lot of knitwear by this time, and I haven't made especially easy stuff, but this was next level. I have never read back something so many times. It was so difficult to crack the code because the gauge of this texture is quite tight because it's slip stitches and cables. So the gauge compared to the stockinette, this is very tight. So you cannot just bind off stitches because then the gauge of your bind off is going to be flaring out completely because it's not the same gauge as the texture in itself. So you need to decrease a ton of stitches while you're doing the bind off. But that's super difficult to do. If I just tell you decrease 3 stitches out of 2 while you're binding off, while doing a texture with slip stitches and cable stitches, it's like, no, I can't do that. So I had to find a way to make it work, not for one size, but for 9, and that was super hard. But I'm so proud of the result. If you ever get the pattern, and you will see what the charts look like, they are so little charts. I think there are 6 charts total for the whole pattern, for this whole thing, and they are mirrored, so you can have the same on both sides. I'm just so proud of the trick I found. I just love it. Okay, all of this to say, this is very difficult to imagine, but I found a way to make it easy to knit, so don't be too scared about it. Yeah, just take your time and it will be fine. Oh, I love it so much. And just a note about the name, the Roadtrip Shacket. I just want to show you the mood board one more time because I'm so proud of it. This is what sparked the name for me because I just wanted to, before I actually knit it, I just had the idea in my head. I wanted something big, warm, cozy, fluffy for when I go on road trips in the van, which is exactly the same van that's here. I can show you a picture that we took with our actual van. I mean my boyfriend's van, but I was on the van. So yeah, I just wanted to capture a feeling, a context, something with this design, and yeah, this is why it's called the Roadtrip Shacket. Oh, I just love it. I have probably shown pictures from the testers, and yeah, that way you can enjoy the beautiful versions out as well. There are so many beautiful colors, so many... I just love it. I'm just so happy, okay? Anyway, you can get it on Ravelry and Payhip, and I hope you will enjoy. Now, it's been 20 minutes, sorry. Next up, I wanted to talk to you about my work in progress. The first one, it's gonna be pretty fast, but I need your help because I stopped on this one because I don't know what to do. So this is something I showed you already. This is the first half of a headband. It's curling up because it's not blocked, but it's there is a cable motif inside here. So it's a headband knit using Woolberry Fiber Company's yarn. This is the new base Rambouillet Decay. So it's a decay yarn and it's Rambouillet. It's a non-superwash worsted spun 2-ply yarn. So it has quite an interesting texture that I really like. And I knit this as a half because I wanted to have the other side of the headband be with this texture. This one is the texture I used in the Melon Sweater that I'm going to talk about later, which is the design of mine currently in testing. It's also a slip stitch pattern as this one. Actually it's the same, but you don't cable it, which I find funny. It's complete coincidence. So I wanted to like sew them together like this and have one very thick headband. If I can make them unroll. Come on. Oh no, I put them right side against right side. Let me start over. Like this. That way I have the cables showing on one side and the slip stitch texture on the other side. And I have a very thick headband that's windproof and squishy and soft and everything I want. However, I have finished this piece, this one, since quite a long time, a week. And I have a lot of yarn left, which I hate. I really wanted to use the most of it. I will still use a little bit more to sew and to knit another piece that I will use to connect everything together. But I will still have a lot of yarn left. I won't know what to do with it. And I don't want to sew them together. I just really don't like sewing, and they both have very different gauges, otherwise I would have knit them together. But this gauge of the slip stitch motif is a lot tighter than the normal cable gauge, so I couldn't just knit them together. So when I'm gonna sew them, I'm gonna have to skip stitches on one side, and I just hate that. It's more than I can handle. I already don't like sewing when I have the same like stockinette sides on both sides, but here I'm just dreading it, really. And I've been thinking again about my initial plan, which was to knit just a muscle bro hat using this single skein and just knit everything and have a hat as big as it's gonna be using a single skein of DK. And my initial plan was to do that and use some other leftovers that were not the same color nor the same blend, I mean the same wool, to knit a part of the hat in it so that I would have a brim big enough for my head, because I like a very big brim, but I don't have enough with one skein to do a big brim, so I wanted to use leftovers. And I'm considering ripping back everything to go back to this initial plan, because yeah, I like it. I don't know if I want to rip back everything because I don't like it enough and I think I would prefer the hat, or because I have too much leftovers and I really hate leftovers, so I just want to try something else to use everything, or because I really don't want to sew this together. I don't know if I want to rip it back because I'm lazy or because it's a good idea. I can't tell. I have no idea. Because I know a headband is more practical for me, because what I do for the last muscle bro hat I have made for myself, I left a hole at the top so that I could have my ponytail through the hole, because my hair are usually up when I have a hat or something, and it doesn't work if I have a bun because the hole is too small and it's just quite annoying to deal with. So maybe I can do a muscle bro with a bigger hole so that I can fit my bun in the hole. That was weird. So I don't know what I should do. Should I rip back? That's my question. What do you think? Should I continue with what I have? I really don't mind ripping back, okay? I'm really used to frogging stuff. I don't care. What I love to do is to knit and wear my stuff, but I love to knit. So knitting on this a second time or knitting on another project is the same. I don't care about ripping back. Do I continue with this and suffer through the sewing and end up with a thick headband and a lot of leftovers? That's super annoying, I hate that. Or do I rip back everything and make myself a hat using another yarn for the inside to make a very big brim? And the hole that's very big, I'm not sure that's gonna look good, that's a problem. And if I have a very big hole and a ponytail, that's gonna be ugly. So this hat would be for when I have a bun, and the other hat would be for when I have a ponytail. That's weird. I'm not sure. Or, last possibility, do I rip back everything and I just knit a stockinette tube and I fold it over 4 times? Basically I do a muscle bro but only the brim, not the hat part, which is kind of a mix of the other two. What do you think? What should I do? I don't want two headbands, and I want minimal sewing, so I don't want to sew a fabric lining on both of those because I don't need two headbands. And I really don't like sewing fabric to knit fabric. It's even worse than knitting together. And I already have a headband that has a fabric lining, and that's enough. I don't need two. That was to have something exclusively knitted, if it makes sense. Okay, I'm done with this guy. Next up, my next progress is work in progress. I forgot the word. I have something I'm not gonna show because it's really not interesting at all. I will show you when it's a little bit more advanced, progressed, whatever. I'm gonna show you my new cast on, which is the same color as the one I just showed you, but this one is fingering weight and it's merino. So this is Woolberry Fiber Company merino, fingering weight, superwash base. So this one is superwash. And I am knitting the... it's going like this. I am knitting the Tonight top by Lily Kate, France. So it's this absolutely iconic thing. It's beautiful. I've been wanting to make it since it came out. I think it was 2 years ago. I just love it so much. But I would like to make it into a dress. Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. And for that I have 4 skeins. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this. And the funny thing, I had bought those 4 skeins initially because I wanted to make a melon sweater, the first one that I'm going to talk about later, if you don't know what I'm talking about. But then I had the idea to use 2 colors for the melon, so I couldn't use this anymore. And then I wasn't sure what to do with 4 skeins of superwash fingering weight yarn. And then I had the idea of a dress, because superwash is a little bit more drapey than non-superwash, so I thought it would be perfect for a beautiful dress. And this top is not supposed to be too fitted, which is again perfect for a superwash plan. So I did the cast on. I'm knitting size 2 on 3.25mm needles. I think I'm on gauge. I didn't gauge swatch because this back panel is about the size of a correct swatch, so I'm just gonna measure on that. I should have measured before I picked up for the fronts, but I didn't. It looks okay. It looks like it's a correct size, so it's fine. And I'm not doing any modification, except I am adding quite a big amount of length to the back here, because, let me explain. I am wearing this guy, which is the camisole number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, which was a... oh my god. I was already wearing in the last episode, but I was wearing it this morning when I went out and I was too lazy to change, so I'm just wearing the same thing as in the last episode. Sorry, not sorry. And this is size 1 on the front and size 2 on the back. And when I was knitting it, you might remember, I will pop a picture anyway, of how low the underarm was coming. I think it was coming under my boobs, so like there. It was this deep before I added the trimming, the edge here, and it came up this much. This is pretty tight. And when I was first wearing it, after I haven't even blocked it, but after I finished rocking it, it was really tight. I can show you pictures I took with my photographer. They are beautiful. I love those pictures. And you can definitely tell this is cutting into my flesh here. But now it's getting better. I have worn it a few times and it stretched out enough to be comfortable, so that's fine. However, I really don't want that to happen with the dress, because I want this dress to be... this is negative is, and the dress is gonna be like very slightly positive is, maybe 2 centimeters, 1 inch, not more. And I really don't want this to be too high. And I have already added a little bit of length to the back panel on this one, and it's still too high. So I added something like 4 centimeters, that's like 1.5 inch, even more, 1 3/4 of an inch or something to the back, so like this much. That's a lot. And I'm gonna also add length to the front, that way everything is coming back, coming down, and I hope this is not gonna happen. Also, this one is like you pick up and knit in the round and then you fold over and you bind off, so that's quite tight, whereas this one is using double knitting, which is tight, but less tight than this one. So I think it shouldn't ride up as much as this one did. So this and that added together, it should come pretty low, I hope. We will see. So that's what I'm working on, and the only other modification I did is I changed the increase method. You're supposed to, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you what you're supposed to use, but it's not what I use. So I changed them to be lifted increases, which give this very beautiful clean line that I love without pulling the fabric too much. If you use the usual increases everyone uses are make ones, and you pick up the bar from the row below and then you twist it, and that tends to tighten the fabric, which I really don't like, especially here. So, and it's not make ones in the pattern, but I didn't want it to use what she was using because it leaves a very cute detail, but I didn't like it. I understand why she did it, I understood why she did it, but I didn't like it, so I changed them for lifted increases, and then I did the same for the neckline. I also used lifted increases. It's not the same increases for the neckline that the underarm, but I changed them anyway to be the same for me. Whatever, it doesn't matter, it doesn't make a big difference. For this one, unlike what I did here, for this one I did size 1 on the front and size 2 on the back. It was easy to do because the straps are the same width, it's just a difference in how many stitches you increase. But for this one, if I wanted to do something like this, I would have different set of short rows, because there is a little bit of shoulder shaping here. Can you even see that? And I would have to move the short rows from front to back so that I pick up at the correct spot on the back. Whatever, it was complicated and I really didn't want it to think, because I'm in hardcore designing mode with the Roadtrip Shacket release and the Melon Sweater test and everything. I just didn't want it to think, so I'm just knitting size 2, and that's all. And for the body of the dress, my hips are wider than my bust, so I need more room there, and I wanted the dress to be A-line anyway, so what I'm gonna do is do gentle increasing when I join in the round. I think I will do something like increase, what, 4 stitches every 8 rows? Yeah, probably, until the end, until the bottom, until I run out of yarn of my 4 skeins, so we shall see. In this one I did 4 stitches decrease every 8 rows, and I'm getting like this kind of shape, so if I invert that, I think we should be good. Most scientific way to prepare a knit ever. So that's my plan. And I have wound all this yarn because I want this to be my summer, no, not summer, what? To be my winter, no. My holiday project, because it's gonna be endless knitting in the round once I join the underarm for 4 skeins, so that's gonna be perfect for holiday, spring, holiday knitting. Simple, easy, mindless, portable, fingering weight, going slow, taking ages, perfect. So that's my first work in progress, and then I have swatched for my second one, which is a little bit of the same. I wanted this to be my second holiday project because it's also fingering weight and it's gonna take a while. This is nothing for now. This will become the Moonset Tee by Ozetta, which I have already knit before, but it was in a yarn that was scratchy and it was a bit too small anyway, so I gave that one away. And I'm knitting myself another one. This is knitting for Olive Cotton Merino. I have 3 balls. And I knit myself a swatch because I already had another one which I took with me, but now it's here. Funny thing, I knit this swatch to knit this guy because I bought this yarn to knit myself a camisole number 9, but I also bought another skein ball of this to knit another Negative Ease summer garment, which I finished before I started this one with this. And it's a little bit itchy. This is super soft, by the way, very next to skin soft, very nice, even when I'm hot, perfect. Except it's a tiny bit, I can feel it a tiny bit around here, but I can't feel it anymore. So maybe it was just at the beginning and now it's gotten soft enough. I don't know. But this was not soft enough for me to wear as a negative ease piece. So I changed my plans and I knit this pattern using another yarn, obviously. So I was left with those 3 balls, not knowing what to do with them. And this is the swatch using 2.75 needles that I knit for this. Way too small. This is like 30 stitches gauge and the moon set is 26, 24 or 26, I think it's 26. So this was way too small. So I need another swatch, which is this one. And this is on 3.25, I forgot to write it down. I don't know what I used. I think it was the same needle, so it was probably 3.25. Or maybe it was 3.5. I don't remember. That's a problem. Oops. But this is a very nice fabric and I don't think I want to go any like looser than that because it's already a little bit see-through. Can you tell? I can tell. Yeah, tiny bit. And I don't really want to have this more see-through than that. And my gauge is a little bit too small. I think this is 28 stitches. It's blocked, so it's not gonna get any bigger. So I think I will go with 28 stitches instead of 26. 26. And I will knit size 3 instead of size 2. It's gonna be a little bit smaller. I could do math to know exactly what size it's gonna be, but A, my gauge is probably gonna change anyway, because it does always. And B, I don't really care about the ease of this one. If it's a little bit oversized, I'm fine. If it's super oversized, I'm fine as well. I don't really care. It's just a t-shirt. I can wear pretty every kind of ease on the t-shirt. I really don't care. So not too much to worry about, which is perfect for a holiday knit again. So this was supposed to be my second project. If I ever get tired of this one, or for whatever reason, I wanted to take this with me. However, I received some yarn. I knew it was coming, but I wasn't sure it would get to me before I leave on Sunday. But it arrived yesterday. So I can show you my acquisition. This is Explore Knits and Fibers, so the same as this one. By the way, this is Earthy sock base in the colorway Heirloom. This is Earthy sock base. I love this base. In the colorways, those two are Muckross and this one is Earth. And together they form the most beautiful earthy shade tones pairing, whatever. It's gorgeous. It's so nice. It's pretty incredible that I love it this much because, as you can maybe tell, I'm really into dark, bright. This is my color palette. I love this. This is my type of colors. Yeah, and definitely not this. I love this. I have like 10 skins of this colorway because I love it so much. And I'm so happy to go out of my comfort zone. This is beautiful and I know I'm gonna wear it a lot. Because, fun fact, I think my color, season, whatever thing is warmer tone. I was told I'm a dark autumn. I did get them professionally done, but I don't really believe the results. But I think I'm warm, neutral to warm toned. So warm tones fit me better, but I prefer cool tones. And in the end, I do what I want. Nobody can tell me what to wear, so I just wear cool tones because I don't care. But I have to admit that when I wear, I mean, this is very, very warm, but I just look a little bit better in... I don't know, I have no idea, I really don't care. But a part of me is still a little bit excited to finally wear something that's probably gonna fit me a little bit better. I don't know. I'm just super excited to just try something different. It's just that. I'm just happy about the change. And since I received this yarn before I'm going on holidays, obviously, I wound it already and I'm gonna start my second sample of the Melon Sweater with this, which is gonna be the short sleeve version. So the first one I did is the long sleeves, obviously, as you can probably tell by the pictures, and this one is gonna be short sleeves. And it's gonna be so good. I'm so excited. So yes, that's a plan. And the Melon Sweater takes ages to knit because it's also a slip stitch. I mean, also, it's exactly this, except this is single color. It's a slip stitch motif, so it takes a while. Just like brioche, just like mosaic knitting, it's kind of the same time investment to get a certain amount of fabric. So perfect for holiday knitting because it doesn't take a lot of space, it takes ages to knit. So what I think I'm gonna do is take the 3 projects, so the tonight dress, the melon tee, and as backup I'm gonna take the moonset tee as well. If anything happens, I'm probably gonna finish one of the 2, and if I don't want to work on the other one, or if I just want 2 projects or whatever, I can have this as a backup. And I think that's the plan. I'm just gonna put this back on again, I'm a little bit cold. Regarding the melon sweater, I just wanted to talk about, it's like a knit and chat section, except I'm not gonna knit because I really struggle to knit and talk at the same time. Which is a shame, but I can't. I have been thinking since forever, since I started designing stuff, about bust darts, because I don't particularly need them, I'm pretty flat, but I know how useful they can be for any person that is busty, a little bit bustier than I am. And I think they are very important and that everyone should be aware of their existence and have the possibility to choose to use them or not. So I always wanted to add them in my patterns. However, the first garment pattern I made was the harmony jacket, which is an all-over cable design, and it was a bit difficult to add short rows in that, especially since it was my first garment ever. It was a little bit too much, so I didn't include them in that, which has always frustrated me a little bit, but whatever. I discussed with my tech editor that probably the best thing to do in the case of the harmony jacket, for example, would be to add the short rows not on top of the bust, but at the very bottom of the garment, so that you add the fabric that you need here instead of here, which is exactly the same, except it's not done that way usually. So I wasn't really sure, and also the problem is that the harmony jacket has like insert pockets like this, which means you would have extra fabric below the pocket, which I wasn't really sure if it would look good. So yeah, I didn't add it bust darts in this design. And in this one, this is very oversized, and also there are pockets on top of the bust, so it's a little bit difficult to add stuff. I mean, you can, but it's just a little bit difficult. And then you have the rounded hem at the bottom, so there is technically added fabric here. So it wasn't really necessary in this case to add the bust darts. But now, the melon sweater is a little bit more fitted. It's not supposed, I mean, it's supposed to have 0 ease, but you have a little bit of leeway, so you can have like 4 centimeters of positive or negative ease, so about 2 inches of positive or negative ease. So it's about 0 ease, about fitted, kind of. And there, it's much more important to have bust darts, especially since it's supposed to be cropped, because if you need bust darts and you have something cropped, it's gonna immediately fit like this if you miss this fabric. So it's immediately gonna show if you need bust darts but you don't have them. So I really needed to find a way to add them in. But again, because of the stitch I was using, the texture I was using, I'm just gonna grab the melon sweater. This sleeve pattern. It's a slip stitch and it's offset. On one set of rows it's here, and on the next set of rows it's here, and then it's offset like that. Which means the pattern repeat happens over 8 rows, but when you do short rows you work them over 2 rows. I mean, groups of 2 rows. So if you do that in this type of fabric, you're gonna get a very obvious line of stitches that are supposed to be offset like that, but are not, because you don't work them at the same rate. Anyway, it gets very messy and it doesn't look good at all, so I couldn't just add the darts above the chest like they are supposed to be or like they are usually done, which was a problem again, because it's usually how it's done and I don't want to reinvent the wheel every time I do something. So yeah, I decided to ask my editor about, again, this thing to add the short rows the bust darts at the very bottom of the garment. And she gave me a lot of insights, she told me about some resources, and yeah, we had a lot of back and forth, and we finally decided that we could probably go on with this solution if we adapted a few little things. For example, when you add the darts here, you are counting on the fact that the fabric will stretch a little bit over the bust anyway, even if you have positive ease. I mean, not too much, but yeah, a little bit. So you count for that in the amount of short rows you add. But since in this case the bust darts happen at the very bottom, there is no stretching at all because it's not there. I mean, there is stretching, but not in the darts in themselves. Anyway, it's a little bit complicated. We had a long talk about that, and we decided to tweak a little bit what's usually done when you do the bust darts. Horizontal bust darts. Vertical bust darts are different, but in this case it's horizontal bust darts. To find a solution that would work with this specific case. And I am very happy to report that we find a solution, so that's great. I'm super excited, and what I would really love to do is to test the darts in this design with my testers. A few people have agreed to test out this, and then if it works out great, I would like to release this as a free resource so that anyone that wants to add darts to a design can just use this resource for free to have something that fits them great. And the best part is that it doesn't involve math. It's something where basically it's pretty easy. You try on your thing, your work, before you reach the bottom hem here. I mean, just before you reach the bottom hem. And then you place markers at the apex of your chest, so usually the point that's the further away from you. And you place marker there, and then you measure how far this marker is from the underarm, and then you need to hang a measuring tape from your shoulder. You measure how low you want the fabric to go on the front, so let's say here, and then you do the same measurement from the same point and you measure on the back where you want your garment to fall, and then you see if there is a difference between those two measurements. For me, for example, the difference is like 2 centimeters, so it's almost nothing, so I don't need bust darts. But if you have a big difference, so if the length you need on the front is a lot longer than the length you need on the back, you need bust darts. So you take this length, for example, let's say 5 centimeters, that's 2 inches, and since you have already knit most of your garment, you just measure how many rows you have in this length, so it doesn't depend on the pattern gauge. You can use this technique for any pattern. You just measure how many rows you have. For example, let's say 5 centimeters is 20 rows, and you divide that by 2, which means you will need to work 10 pairs of short rows to have the bust darts deep enough for you. And then you take the distance from the apex to the underarm, and you divide that by 10 to know how many stitches you need to have between your short row turns. And that's it! You have your bust darts! I'm so proud! It's so easy! You don't need to have big like charts and referring to different stuff and calculation. It's super complicated, and then you have a set amount of rows to work for a given size, and it's just difficult, and then it doesn't work, and whatever. This is super easy, and it's tailored to you. So I really hope this works out. We will see how it goes with the testers, and if it's great, if it fits nicely, I can release this as a free pattern, as a free resource. And the best part is that you can work that at the bottom, like is the case here, but you can also work it when you reach the underarm here, because you already have the fabric up here that you can measure to get how many rows you need in the short row depth you need. So it should work for any possibility, except you need to adapt the depth you need depending on where you place them, but that's for another day. So yeah, I'm super excited about that, and I hope it will work out. I think it's the 3rd time I'm saying that. I'm sorry. That's everything I wanted to talk to you about for today. I need to stop. I can't talk anymore. I'm tired. I need to drink some water. I hoped I could finish filming without having to change the battery, but it didn't happen. Anyway, yes, I hope I will be able to leave on holiday on Sunday. I say I hope because actually the weather forecast is horrible for the whole Central Europe for some reason. It's been like very sunny and warm for the past week, but Germany, Italy, France, Belgium, Spain, Croatia, everywhere. It's raining everywhere, starting from Sunday, and that's not a good thing when you want to climb outside. So we shall see what happens, but I hope I can leave on a road trip on Sunday. So yeah, I will see you again probably in April. Again, I hope. If I stay here, I'm gonna film another episode, I think, but yeah. Until then, I hope you enjoyed. Happy knitting on your Roadtrip Shacket if you decide to support me with this one. I hope you do, because it's really, really amazing. Don't forget about the coupon code. Happy road trip, and yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for your support, thanks for your kind messages, thank you for everything. I'm so happy you're here, and I will see you in April. Happy knitting! Bye!